Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today's video is not going to be controversial, I don't think, anyway. I don't have any plans of saying anything controversial. We're going to talk about the UPS flight that crashed in Louisville yesterday. What a horrible turn of events. Of course, most of you have seen it by now, but a UPS cargo plane crashed shortly after takeoff, erupting into a massive fireball, claiming multiple lives. This is UPS flight 2976, and as of today, November 5th, the death toll has risen to at least 9, with more expected. Real quick, guys, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a video similar to this. So what exactly went down? Well, we don't know exactly yet, but we have a lot of course, video footage, as you see, but a lot of other information coming in as well. UPS Flight 2976 was a McDonnell Douglas MD-11 cargo plane scheduled to fly from Louisville to Honolulu with 3 members on board. Took off around 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday, but something went horribly wrong just moments later. Plane crashed near the airport, slamming into 2 nearby businesses, Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts. Eyewitnesses described a massive explosion, as you can see, with flames and thick black smoke billowing into the sky. The crash site was only about 500 feet from one of the businesses and sparked secondary explosions at the petroleum plant. Actually, some of the footage you look at, you can hear and see some of the flashes of those very explosions. The plane was carrying a staggering 280,000 gallons of fuel, according to reports, which fueled the inferno, obviously. Now, amazingly, as you saw in one of the videos, and I'll show you the broken up pieces and it together as well, there's a dash cam video of a truck driver sitting in a truck in the 18-wheeler lot just adjacent to the airport where the airplane crashed into. I want you to pay particular attention to the listing of the airplane. And I'm going to use a lot of the wrong terminology because I am not a transportation expert. But when I say listing, I mean the plane went like this, right? The left side engine is the suspected cause at this point. In fact, when you look at this video of it taking off along the runway, I assume those are airport workers that are traveling behind it. You can clearly and obviously see the left engine on fire. And obviously that engine, couple of things that I picked out on this. I believe the engine is gone by the time it actually made it, let's say, exited the airport property and entered the 18-wheeler lot where it began to actually hit the ground. Because in some of the pictures, and I took one screen grab here, and I do not see a left side engine. So I do believe that obviously the engine was attached as it was taking off, but as it lost power, caught fire, and all that good stuff, it looks like it did, in fact, fall off somewhere. Obviously, those details will come out sooner or later. Let's talk about the human toll. This is a tough one. Officials, including Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear and Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg, have confirmed at least 9 fatalities so far, including the 3 crew members on board. The rest were ground casualties from the impacted businesses. Tragically, the death toll is expected to rise as search and rescue teams comb through the wreckage. On the injury front, reports indicate at least 11 people have been hospitalized, with some sources saying 10 patients are currently at U of L health facilities. 2 of those are in critical condition at the burn center, while others are being treated for various injuries and are expected to survive. Additionally, 16 families have reported loved ones missing. That's fascinating and incredible, and heart-wrenching, of course. A victim reunification center has been set up at the Louisville Metro Police Department's training academy on Taylor Boulevard in Louisville. There's also a hotline for info, 1-800-631-0604, if you know anything or have any information that might lead to, if nothing else, finding out where these loved ones are. Obviously, all of the deceased and the injured, my thoughts and prayers absolutely go out to them. This is a horrible thing. Can you imagine your loved one getting up in the morning and this is what I'm going to do? I've done it hundreds, thousands of times over. And imagine the 3 on board the UPS flight. That had to have been some jubilation of some sort, right? I mean, yeah, I know it's a long flight. It's a tough flight. But you're flying from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu. Bit of an upgrade. So I'm sure they were excited to go, and never got to experience any of that excitement other than preparation for the actual flight. Just a horrible, horrible thing. Emergency crews responded right away. The fires were still burning into today, a day later. And of course, a shelter in place was issued for a 1-mile radius due to air quality concerns and explosion risks. The airport halted, of course, all operations, causing major disruptions for UPS's main air hub. UPS themselves have issued a statement expressing condolences and confirming they're cooperating with authorities as we would expect them to. The National Transportation Safety Board is leading the investigation with teams arriving on site to examine the wreckage, black boxes, and possible causes. Everything from mechanical failure to pilot errors on the table, but it's too early to say. The governor noted that while the loss is devastating, it could have been worse given the plane's proximity to more populated areas. First thing I thought of when it happened, it started to climb barely and then crash. And I'm thinking to myself, if this thing were able to climb to 50 feet, 100 feet, there's always huge neighborhoods right next to all of these airports. There's never an airport out in the middle of nowhere. I say never. There's somewhere. But imagine how devastating this could have been had that airplane been much higher and going at a higher rate of speed. But one thing I want to point out are some similarities to a flight back in 1979. This is interesting. The flight was an American Flight 191. It was a DC-10 in that case. That crashed in 1979. The left engine detached from the wing on takeoff, resulting in a crash that remains the deadliest to have occurred in the United States. Now, in this case, the UPS airplane is the MD-11. It's a derivative of the DC-10, but of course, there's tons of changes on it. It is not the same aircraft. It's an extension. It's a later cousin of it, maybe a grandchild of the DC-10. In that 1979 Chicago crash of the DC-10, the engine separated going up and over the left wing. This damaged the hydraulic lines, which then caused the slats, quote unquote, or leading edge flaps to retract. This in turn raised the stall speed of the left wing and resulted in a loss of control. Ultimately, the cause of the engine separation from the airplane itself was ruled to be improper maintenance procedures. It seems that they had been using a forklift at the airport to get underneath the engine of that DC-10 and detach the engine, lower it using the forklift in order to work on the engine, then raise it back up using the same forklift and reattach it to the airplane. From what I've read, that seems to have weakened the attachment points. And I don't want to get too technical because I don't know the exact words for this, but it did weaken the attachment points where the engine itself was affixed to the wing. And they determined that that's how the engine itself ended up falling off of the airplane. But clearly the one thing that was obvious to me is the very fact that you see in this shot of that 1979 crash, the left side engine is absolutely missing off of the airplane. And as I stated earlier, I do believe that in one of the frames of the video, you can actually see that the left side engine is gone from this particular UPS flight. So I do think there are certainly some similarities. Not only that, look at the position of the airplane. This is a 1979 airplane, clearly in a position that it's not supposed to be in, and the UPS flight resembles that very much as it impacted the ground in this 18-wheeler lot. Just an absolutely horrible tragedy. I honestly cannot imagine the thoughts of these families. Again, I mean, I'm not trying to lessen the effect of losing a loved one in any type of scenario. If your loved one is going off to war and they leave, that might be the last time you see them, right? But these UPS pilots and anybody on the ground for that matter, I mean, if somebody was working at I think it hit a parts store, somebody's working in that parts store, do you honestly think that their spouse looked at them that morning thinking, this might be the last time I see them? Of course they didn't. Just think about that. The things you wish you would have said to somebody, it's devastating to me to think of it like that. And again, I have a really bad habit of putting myself into a position. I just can't imagine if, my wife didn't come home today. on a day that there was no reason to think that she wouldn't come home. And these people have all experienced that emotion. It's just a horrible, horrible thing. I pray for these families, and I hope they're okay. I hope they can find some comfort, maybe through the investigative process. I know UPS. I assume UPS, even though I feel like they're a horrible company. There are lawyers that are going to be involved. So hopefully these families will be taken care of. But that still doesn't replace the person, the mom, the dad, the brother, the daughter, the son that you lost on this day. So just a horrible thing. So guys, if you like the video, please share it with friends. Tell your friends to come over here and follow Legally Armed America. Hit that notification button. Make sure you're subscribed, because YouTube has a habit of unsubscribing my subscribers. And I would like to put an end to that. And I think the only way to do that is to make sure that we are, in fact, subscribed when you watch the video. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.